Hi, it's Peg, and today on Art Joyous Sharing, that's my sister channel that I share with Chelsea. Each Thursday we do a live video, and it's an hour-and-a-half show, and we were doing snarky pages in combination with the Pick-a-Stick Challenge. So we follow the prompts in the order in which they are given on the Pick-a-Stick page, and the first prompt on the Pick-a-Stick page was napkin. So the first thing I did was to apply a napkin to the background. The colors are wisteria and charcoal. And so I used this spray, which was a charcoal color, and I'm going to use Deco Page napkin glue and glue down this napkin that has the charcoal coloration on it. And get both of those pages covered with the napkin, and that makes the page very, very, very wet because I had already painted the back side of the page. So, now we're wet both front and back, and I'm getting a hot mess going on. I should have thought about that because normally when you're working wet, you do not want to have both sides of the page wet at the same time. So, prompt 2 is rabbit. And I had sketched a rabbit out on a piece of deli paper. And I'm going to use that. So I'm cutting around that image, and I'm going to try to dry this napkin down. And you can see the back of my page that I painted. It's ripping right up. I pulled the painter's tape off, and it pulled half of the paper off. So I need to reinforce that before I move on with the page because I have really weakened the page. You can see how flimsy these pages have become because of the moisture that's in them. So when you're doing faster pages, you may want to think about the mediums that you're using. I was thinking, I got an hour and a half. I'm not rushing through anything, but I really didn't think it through when I started thinking about adding all of this media. So I've quickly got to fix this. I'm going to take an additional page and do a tip in and just glue that down quickly, trying to reinforce it, and then I'll add some washi tape for additional strength and layering in there. These are some things I'd picked up from Joggles, and so the back side is done. I'm going to also put some washi on the front to reinforce that, and yeah, finally getting around to getting some stuff down on the page. So I have a stencil. I'm going to use that stencil and make a splash with some shaded lilac. Now each Pick Stick Challenge has two colors, and the color that I'm using is a purplish tone. The color that was chosen for the month is wisteria and charcoal, so I'm trying to stay in that same family when I'm doing this. Now I'm finally getting around to picking out the rabbit that I wanted to put down and thinking about what I want on the back side of that page. I probably won't get to that today. It'll probably become part of tomorrow's video, but this rabbit, I was more influenced by, you saw several different rabbit images there. Some of those are from Unsplash and other places, but I like the traditional rabbit, so I'm thinking about something more like Thumper from Bambi. And the next prompt is coming up, so I'm going to do dabber, which is what do they call that? It's not a dabber, it's a yeah, pouncer. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a pouncer, and the prompt is pounce. So I'm pouncing some gesso onto my background and doing the next prompt. And I'm going to use some of that white gesso that's still on my table there and start filling in some of the areas on the rabbit. But first, the next prompt was boisterous, so I thought I'd do something kind of like sound waves with a stamp. And then I start with the colorizing. And watercolor is a prompt, but I'm using a watercolor brush. This is a water reservoir brush. I will also add some watercolor medium to this bunny rabbit, but I'm using some different paints and gesso in my water brush, which I think is fair for that particular prompt. I'm just going to get my bunny colored. So this painting is going to take a little while. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So I'm using a variety of different paints here. Mostly I'm using DecoArt Media Paint. I like the way these work, and it just takes a tiny little drop and they mix and blend well. So I have a dark gray, which is like the charcoal. I have a primary magenta, and I'm also mixing in some of the paper artsy fresco finish paints in here because I need some pinkish tones, but you know, I'm just blending things out and then coming back with my Arteza and Posca paint pens and adding the detail around the border on the bunny. You know, you just follow the outline. Now, this is an hour and a half show, and there's only so much that you can do in an hour and a half. One of the audience members, Peggy, had said something about the Thumper quote, which, yeah, I think Thumper said, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. And so we're changing it up a little bit because it's about snarkiness this month. The whole prompt theme thing for the month is about being snarky. So my take on Thumper's saying is, if you can't say nothing nice, which is the way rabbits talk, you know, they don't say nothing, they say nothing. If you can't say nothing nice, say something snarky. So that's my little Thumper Rabbit quote. And I'm going to add another little quote from the chat, the snarky chat stuff from Tim Holtz. And I'm going to, you know, continue working. The show actually ended, but I needed to do the splats because that was the final prompt. And I'm going to get, you know, a photo of that much because it was, you know, the show had ended and it was time to stop and, you know, finish things. But after the show finished, I came back and did some of the shadowing and highlights, that sort of thing, to finish out the page. So I hope you're joining us on our month-long challenge, being snarky, making some art journal pages, practicing in your art journal, and you know, using our prompts and posting it, using our hashtags and posting, because you know we love to see what everybody else is doing too. Don't be shy. We want you to join us and join the fun. So I hope you enjoyed this today, and I will be back with more. Promise. So bye for now.